Hi, I'm Duncan McEachern, been a Volvo fan all my life. And I think if I truly understand where it first came from, I have to admit it was my father, who back in the 60s loved and drove Volvos all the time. And he got me interested in the brand. I used to follow him around. He rally raced Volvos in the 60s and in the 70s. Bought my first car, was a Volvo actually. So ever since the young age, I've always been oriented toward and loved Volvos. As I said, heavily influenced at a young age by my father, and he found a car he thought would be the perfect car for me to have as a first vehicle. Problem was, it had been in a crash, and she was asking $50 for it. We actually gave her $75. I even drove it home. It was a 1970 122S two-door, so-called Amazon. The last year they made that version, and I spent the next year totally restoring the car. We did a lot of work together on it. In fact, got it into a show-winning condition. I won a car show I used to take it at in the early 80s. So it was a great experience. My gosh, I wish I had another one like that right now. Why am I so loyal to Volvo? I guess part of it is because at a young age I loved the brand, and that stuck with me. But when I really think about it, I think kind of the safety, the reliability, and maybe surprising to a lot of people, the performance of a Volvo. They've always had those great features. In fact, when I was a young kid, my dad was involved in a really bad crash in a Volvo, and any other car of that era, he would not have survived. But it was a Volvo, and he lived to tell the tale. That stuck with me as a kid, and of course, all the innovative features since. I've just always enjoyed Volvo. My experience with Volvo has probably stayed fairly consistent. The things that would have evolved over time really is one, how I used the car. Again, I've probably had 14 or 15 Volvos over my driving life, centered around, young kid, having a fun first car, and then moving to having a family, getting the space you need. And then using the car on trips, family experiences, a lot of great memories on that. One of the things I kind of miss a little bit is that back when, I used to be able to do a lot of work on myself on the car. They're too sophisticated to do that now by myself. Yeah, lots of great stories with the cars I've had over the years. If I think back about it, right from the first car, take it to a car show and meeting down in the US, one of their first national meet, meeting lots of interesting people. I was a younger kid, and it was unique maybe to have a guy so young interested in Volvo as a fun car at that time. I think about finishing university a couple of decades ago and driving down to Florida with my then girlfriend, now my wife. Great experiences there, meeting some people that we had seen at previous car events. Think about young family and coming home from hospital. I can think about one of the Volvos I've had that I had some work done, and it was a track car for me, my daily driver, but I take it to the track and have amazing fun experiences on the track, and probably surprise a lot of people with what a Volvo could really do. And it continues. I look forward to continuing adventures and how Volvo plays a really fun part of my life and my family's life. My relationship with John goes back many, many years. In fact, I think it's going to be, it could be somewhere in the late 90s. And I've always believed Volvo loyalty is one thing, but you got to know who you're dealing with, the owner of the dealer, the people that work at the dealership. Are they like corporate people, or are they people who get cars? They're car people, and they're going to take care of you all your ownership life. And so John was actually a service advisor to service manager when I first met him, and awesome to see him progress in his career. And I guess the first Volvo I bought from John would have been, I think, in the year 2000, a couple years after knowing John. This was the C70 that I had some experience enjoying on the track. And then since then, great to see John progress and get both the Hamilton store as well as the Oakville store, and continue to have that relationship. Oh, I guess we're talking 25 years at least now. And that's a critical part of Volvo loyalty. It's not just the car. In fact, I'd argue it's more the dealer principle and the people that you work with. on the sales and service front. That's more important. In fact, if I think back as well, we've used some of our other cars on some dealer promo items. I had a Volvo 800ES that was my father's from when it was 4 years old in '76, original paint, and so John used it here at the store in Oakville when they launched the C30, as the ES was often referred to as its spiritual successor. So it was a fun launch back in the 2007, 2008 time period. Think about whether safety has influenced my decision to stay with Volvo. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I referred to a story earlier about my father that survived a horrific crash in a Volvo that he would have not survived in any other car of the time. One, you may know the story about my previous, the 23 Polestar sitting behind me, but I had a 22 V60 Polestar that I had wrapped and had some work done to it, and 26 hours after taking delivery, errant tire, I should say, coming off a truck, slammed head on into me on a highway. The police who came on scene said that they don't get to speak to people involved in a crash like I was. So it saved my life, and the car was totaled, obviously, but I walked away absolutely fine. So does safety influence my decision? It has and always will, that's for sure. Yeah, the other things as well. I mean, I've always believed that it truly is a combination of safety, reliability, great features, and performance. Certainly some of the ones more recently now, I can think back to when I got a 2013 S60 from John. I still have that car. And he talked about this thing called adaptive cruise control. This is going back like 11 years ago, and I said, oh no, I'm not gonna need that. I'll never use it, John. But it came with a package of the features I wanted. Well, the first day I used it, oh my gosh, I was converted. So I've always been leading edge on those sort of technologies, safety-driven, performance-driven, enjoyment-driven, always had fantastic stereos. If you're ever getting a Volvo and you'd question the options for any stereos, pay up to get it, you will never regret it. They are fantastic quality. And it does transform the driving experience. Yeah, lots of opportunity for Volvo events. And my gosh, I can think back to, as a kid in the 60s and 70s at rally meets in Canada, racing events out in Edmonton or here in Toronto area at Mossport. I can think about car shows. What's really interesting is that the cars are great, but what's even better is the people that own the cars and the stories about the people who own the cars, how they've owned the cars, how they transition their ownership of the cars. And you meet an incredibly wide, diverse range of people, and that's really interesting, kind of fascinating. There's a Volvo for everyone, and there's everyone can be in a Volvo, I truly believe.
How do you feel about the direction Volvo is currently taking and its focus on electric and hybrid vehicles? I know that before you were very hesitant about driving it in pure electric mode, and now it seems to have converted you.
You're absolutely right, Juan. I mean, I tell you, if you asked me that question a little over a year ago before I took delivery of the first one I had, I would have said electric, hybrid, meh. It wasn't anything to do with why I got the car. I didn't have that car long enough. It was 26 hours that the collision happened after I drove off the lot. But having had this one, even for this first couple of days, I'm converted. It is absolutely brilliant. Plug-in hybrid for me and my family's use is perfect. I'm about a third the gas mileage. So we're using a third of the gas I used to use. It is incredible. It takes away range anxiety. It's a calm, serene environment to drive, and that's coming from a car guy. I wouldn't have thought I would think that. And this plug-in hybrid technology is a fabulous sort of transition step towards full EV when the infrastructure is there to support an EV, particularly for longer use road trips. First time, what took you so long? But truly though, I take the time to understand what you really need, what applications do you want, understand the wants you want out of the vehicle. Once you've determined that, then get to know your dealership, the owner, the people that work there. These are people that I would hope you'd want to deal with for a long time. Get to know people that truly care, They're going to maintain your car. They're going to keep you engaged in your driving and ownership experience for the rest of your life. I think that's the most important decision. And then once you've done that, get the car that you really need, consider the things you want, and then make the decision on the car that's right for you with full confidence that you've made a great, safe, reliable choice of vehicle.